We're back one more time. Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke along with Al Losi. Jacinda Pfaff, our guest on the program, doing a nice job running a Thunderstock this year. 8th in points, 10th in dash points. And if everything goes like it is right now, we could be talking to the future Rookie of the Year.
That she's got such a big lead already. I think we could.
50 is hard. 50 is hard to catch.
50 is hard to overcome.
Now, you don't plan on missing any nights this year, do you?
No.
Because that's the biggest thing I always ask drivers. If they're in the top 5 in points, okay, how many nights are you going to miss? And I started that about 3 or 4 years ago with Steve Carlson. Always top 3 in the points, and he would venture offwards and run in different racetracks. But yeah,
and you bringing up the Rookie of the Year, that is so important to start your career. You get, for the rest of your career, you get to go to sponsors and say that you're a former Rookie of the Year. You get to go to fans. I mean, everybody. It brings a title of respect. Is that something that you were shooting for at the beginning of the year?
It's always been something I wanted. I intended on racing last year full time, but I just didn't get around to it. And I always told Dad, I was like, Dad, I want to be that 16-year-old Rookie of the Year girl. And finally this year, it's really what I'm shooting for, and I'm hoping I can keep my lead. I just got to finish every night.
And I know how word travels. I've coached at Sparta High School for 7 years in a row, and Jacinda's going to be a senior at Sparta High School this year. You know that's going to get around as soon as, if and when, can't say as soon as, you get Rookie of the Year in a race car, that's going to travel throughout the Sparta High School.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends will come out and watch, and they're always rooting for me. They always ask me how I did. They're always there.
Now, how much do you have? Now, I noticed that you pit, for the people that don't really look at the layout of the pit areas, right. You pit right next to Moore, and you pit right next to your father every race weekend. You're in a Thunderstock. He's in a late model. Obvious differences right there. How much learning and how much conversation do you have with Sean on your car, your setups, and racing in general?
Not so much in the pits anymore. I mean, we'll get there and we'll unload, and I'll talk to him about a couple of things. And usually after my practice session, I come in and I tell him how it was doing, but usually we wait because after it cools down, my car's fine. And we usually just stick to our own little things. And if Adam's running the late model that night, then they kind of do their own thing, and I try to do mine. I mean, but if I ever need something, he's always there for me, and he's always there to help.
And I know, and then on the other side of you usually have Jordan Myers and Raymond Hardy, and so it's a nice group that you have, and there are several groups like that out at the Speedway that know they can rely on somebody. So pretty much everybody in that corner you can go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everybody's there for me. I don't know how many times Raymond's came over and told me, and sometimes I'd rather talk to Raymond because my dad had, he'll talk to me like, he just started yelling at me, and it's yelling, and the temper between us, both of us, just got really bad. So then I just go to Raymond for everything, and Raymond would talk me through the race and tell me what I had to do to keep my head up and just finish.
So if you get Rookie of the Year this year, obviously you're not just going to race 1 year and be done. What happens next year, and what's the future of Jacinda Pfaff Racing?
Well, I don't quite know yet, but I do plan on racing next year. But one thing that is going to have to change is I'm going to have to limit my social life and my racing life, because I spend no time in the garage, and I just expect my car to be done every week.
Right.
And that's what's caused a lot of the tension between Dad and I, is I don't spend enough time on my car because I'd rather be out running, and so that's one thing that would have to change if I plan on racing next year.
And your dad is right.
Facebook too much.
Oh,
yeah.
Your dad is right. The best drivers are the ones who know how to work on their car, because if you have a better knowledge on how the car works and how it operates, really the races are won and lost in the garage. So you as a driver do need to understand how it works, what the flex is in the chassis. You need to understand how the as you move up the ranks, as Dan was talking about, you need to understand how all the shocks and springs and everything work as a concert on that car. Otherwise, as you're moving up, it's going to be tougher and tougher if you don't learn now.
That's one thing that we were going through last weekend is I was supposed to work on my car all week, but I was in a bad mood, or I had other plans, or just didn't want to be in the garage. And come Saturday morning, I get home after work at noon, and I'm like, oh my God, I got brakes to fix, my front shocks don't work. All the liquid is out of them. And so tonight I'll even be down in the garage just trying to get my car done piece by piece, and we're even going to touch it up because I got senior pictures on Friday.
The last female driver in a late model that I can remember would have been Emily Sustek, and it's been at least 3, maybe even 4 seasons now. Right. Is there a chance that the next female driver in a late model will be you?
Maybe a chance. I mean, earlier this season, Dad let me go out and hot lap the 7 car, and I only got into second gear, but it was fun. We're going to at the end of the year again, but we got to make sure we have our car count back because he is in the points that if he needs a backup car, then he has one.
Yeah.
I don't want to wreck it for him.
Right. So how much cheerleading do you get to do? Do you ever get to watch Dad race? I mean, obviously he's in the top 3 in points, going for a track championship, and is leading the dash points. I mean, Sean's won that last year, fourth, and he was just, he and I would have conversations about that over and over. Said the same thing this year, that I'm getting tired of these 4th place finishes, and something's got to work, and obviously it is. Do you get a chance to watch him actually race? Do you get a chance to actually cheerlead, or are you just zoned in on the Thunderstock?
Oh no, we both watch each other. That's one of the things that we both do. We both help each other. We're both there for each other. My heat race is first, so then I get out of my car when I'm done and I go watch him. And he always parks his car up by where we come out, and he'll get out of his car and watch me, and then he'll get back in, go do his race. And then for the his feature's before mine. So as I make sure I got my suit on, everything's in my car and ready. And when he goes out there, I go up to the hill or watch, or I'll stand on top of my hood of the car. And right after that, then I'll get in and get ready.
Well, before we end the program, let's talk about your sponsors for 2012, because I know you got some great people helping you out.
Yeah, my biggest one would be Durango Racing is my dad's biggest sponsor, and Sheila Zambarin, the hair artist, and SJ Custom Design.
And of course, Stephanie's been delivering a lot of cars out there this year.
Yes.
Doing a nice job. Jacinda Pfaff, 8th in points, 10th in dash points, and she's your current Rookie of the Year points leader, and we're going to follow her along for the rest of the season. And we did talk about Sammy Linehan. We are going to get her on the program as well this year. She runs a Hornet, and she's just doing a fantastic job. And Jacinda and Sammy, we're going to try to get them at the same time today, but Sammy gave me the bogus excuse that she had to work, so we're going to let her slide on that, all right? Jacinda Pfaff, watch for her in the Thunderstock class. It's the number 13 and has been doing a fantastic job, just keeps getting better week in and week out. I want to remind you that I'm going to have Jacinda on my radio show this weekend, the AM 580 WKTY Race Report. You can hear that Saturday from 4 to 5. You want to check out the Facebook, Seven Rivers Racing, and even threw some contests out there. I gave away some party deck passes last weekend on both the Seven Rivers Racing and the Race Report WKTY website. So you're going to have to watch for those because I'm always up for giving stuff away. Jacinda, thanks for coming in and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, for Al Ossie and Van Dyker, thanks for joining us. We'll be here next weekend. And to keep the emails coming, I'm getting recommendations on who you'd like to see in the show. Keep them coming, and we're going to try to get them on. That's going to do it for the show. We'll see you next week. This is Seven Rivers Racing.